This podcast shares personal experiences and life perspectives, not medical advice. We advocate for those living with chronic pain and chronic illness. Guest opinions are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of the host. Now, let's get real with the Arachnoiditis Unfiltered podcast. All right, welcome back to season 2 of Arachnoiditis Unfiltered. We didn't get a full season in last year. We started in June, but since we're going to work on the calendar year, this is season 2, and we are ecstatic to have a very exciting guest with us today. He's an inventor, guy who worked for NASA. He's a rocket scientist. I'm going to let him give you a little bit more about his background, but he's got some amazing technology that he has created or basically reworked to make it more accessible to patients like us. And we're going to let him tell us a little bit about that. And just, from a standpoint of, this is not an endorsement of product. This is not an endorsement of procedure. We are just introducing options to all the people out there because we're always looking for a minute advantage in reduction in pain when you're in as much pain as we are in consistently. So without further delay, Mark Fox, welcome. And thank you so much for being here from all the way from Florida, I would assume.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. So if you would, give us a little bit of your background. I don't want to steal the wind out of your sails. I know there's a lot to it, but if you could give us kind of the elevator pitch, we definitely want to know that you're qualified to be here. So,
Now, first of all, I don't have any patients. I'm not a doctor. I'm a rocket scientist, like you said, so we can't treat, diagnose, cure anything. But my background is mostly, I spent a lot of my career in space and space shuttle program. So I was the chief engineer in the cell rocket industry. And then I worked for IMA and I've done other things. The companies you started in the last 10 years, and I don't know. All kinds of stuff. I own a women's clothing company, dabbled around with DNA, music, and all kinds of different things. I never planned to get into this energy therapy space at all. I didn't know anything about it. But about 26, this has been 27 years ago. Dog couldn't come up the stairs one day, and she had arthritis. So, there's this magical machine that can reverse arthritis using frequency and energy. Yeah. So I got involved with this basically because of my dog. So, and I'm skeptical and went, there's no way this works. There's not energy thing. I don't believe in any of this. It's all voodoo, but it's my dog. So it's like, there's no other options, which is what you're finding most people come to this technology it's usually been in long-term mental or physical pain or both. And everything else they've tried doesn't work or the side effects suck or whatever. Right. So But that's how I got involved in it. I initially saw what it could do for PTSD. So that was the first thing I concentrated on. And quite frankly, it just pissed me off that there was a solution, but it was being held hostage in clinical environments with $20,000 machines and doctors spread in little scattered spots around the country. So I naively dove in and said, I'm not an electrical engineer. I'm going to grant myself an electrical engineering degree after this project because I'm a chemical engineer as my undergraduate, but I'm like, it can't be that hard to build a little affordable device. It was harder than I thought, like most things, but we finally got it close to perfected. And so we ran, I believe we have the largest PTSD study with this technology, PEMF, in the world. And we have a 98% success rate. So PTSD was the very first thing that we went after. There's 60 different protocols on the device, and we have multiple devices, but we won't get into those yet. But anxiety, back pain, depression, and how you guys met me, I'm just going to tell that story because I see it two dozen times a day. Okay. We have these 60 core protocols, and it's pretty obvious. It's like, what do I use for sleep? What do I use for back pain? What do I use for ASRB? And I go, ASRB, never heard of that in my life. What is that? So I have to go Google it. And I've learned the hard way. You don't do that without a cold drink because you can't unsee the pictures. And you're going to go learn about stuff that it's like being a hypochondriac on CDC's website. You're going to blow your brains out, right? There's just so much stuff. I had never heard the word yesterday that you told me, and I still never heard it pronounced till just now. And I know I can't repeat it. But when that happens, this is my procedure. Me and my team, we go to Google. What is this? Usually you're going to find out there's some core things like inflammation is going to be 80% of all ailments in the world. If it's nerve related, fibromyalgia, if it's toxicity related, you're going to run liver protocol. So there's a handful of basic things that I would tell people to go try. And it's exactly now with AI and ChatGPT, and we've literally fed tens of thousands of documents into our AI. And so we guess what it's going to be, and then we look at ChatGPT, and that's what I sent you yesterday, is it confirmed what I thought I would tell you anyway, okay, to go try. So that's kind of the procedures. We tell people, look at the core protocols. If they match, use it. If they don't match, look at our expansion protocols. If there's not a match there, then you're going to do what I just said. I'm going to go Google it, try and find ChatGPT is what might be something to go try. And so that's the procedure that we use. And again, we're not doctors, so we got to be careful about what we recommend. And we get pushed all the time. Tell me what to do. I'm going to be careful with that. So that's a long answer to how I got involved in this stuff. So I created an affordable devices, several of them, to just get out of that horrible $15,000 no access to technology that's there.
Yeah. The way you're describing it with its trial and error is not dissimilar to the way we live with our arachnoiditis, because no two people have a template for this works. There's protocols that people follow with medications and with exercise and some other things thrown in there, holistically speaking, but it's all trial and error. And we did an episode called Pain is Personal, and that, it kind of separates it all out. So tell us what PEMF, PEMF, and we're not talking the guy strutting on the corner. We're talking serious medical technology. There's a ton of information on the internet about this. So we're not talking snake oil. We're talking, there's a lot of literature, there's FDA approval. So get into the technology and talk about some of the things that it is FDA approved for, and the reason that all these other protocols are not approved. I understand it, but I want to get a good understanding from your perspective.
Okay, there's multiple points there. So if I skip over the FDA approved thing, let me come back to that. Okay?
Sure.
But PEMF stands for Pulse Electromagnetic Field. It's a fancy 4-letter acronym, but it's pulsing light, pulsing electromagnetic energy. It's the Earth's heartbeat. So the Earth is putting out 7.83 hertz right now, and two other ones, 20.1, 14.3, but it's called the Schumann frequency. So it's the Earth's heartbeat. You're surrounded in it. So it's not voodoo. If it didn't exist, probably nothing would be living on this planet. Okay. So there's that piece of it. The part about trial and error. So the protocols are frequency pairs. Everyone goes, what frequency are you running? Well, they're between 1 and 1,000 hertz, but it's more complex than that. They're frequency pairs. Frequency A is where is it? B is what's wrong with it. And those pairs change every 1 to 4 minutes. So if you picture a chord on a guitar as the pair of frequencies, the protocols are songs. And where do the songs come from? A garage band, right? Sitting there, it's 8,000 practitioners over 35 years, throwing in a cowbell, putting in a trumpet, put in some bass moves, change me. It makes me think of the Bee Gees. If you see this clip of the Bee Gees, they have 300 songs they made that were awful. 300 of them before they actually made a hit, right? So that's still what happens with this technology. A lot of it's settled, and we have core protocols we use, but we're always fine-tuning things based on feedback and what works. One thing, I'll come back to FDA approved just because it's important, because people go, is this FDA approved? I have to end up saying it's FDA general wellness device. Then I shut up, and their eyes kind of turn like Jungle Book, and they go, trust in me. And it's like, he didn't answer me. He didn't say yes or no. What did he say? And then he usually move on. It's FDA general wellness device. FDA approved is the most expensive, laborious process in the world, and you don't ever want it. Here's why. If I get approved for back pain, I can never use it for your issue. I can never use it for another issue. You can only use it for that one thing it's approved for. It's not 510K cleared, which is the second level. It's an FDA general wellness device, and that's the category that you self-certify in. So I got to be real careful when you say approved, cleared, whatever. Most people do not know what those terms mean, or they just want to know. And the FDA is not out there to help you. Okay. People go, how come the whole world doesn't know about this? Because the drug companies own the airwaves. They have all the money for advertising. Look at the 6 o'clock news, the most expensive ads on TV. They're all drug commercials. All. The only time you don't see a drug commercial, it's your local news or your local commercial that they're required to, the cable companies, to have a certain amount of minutes, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, the drug companies own the airwaves and they fund 75% of the FDA's research budget. We won't go down that rabbit hole too much. That's why you haven't heard about it, is they can make more noise than anybody else. And it's expensive to make noise. Mark Zuckerberg has my whole retirement, all of it. You think I'm joking? No, it costs way more to sell one of these than it does to make it. So.
Yeah. I mean, isn't it kind of the way it goes with manufacturing, especially here in the States versus overseas? And, that's a whole nother conversation to have. But Sarah, you want to chime in? Do you have any?
Basically, I was just going to cover the point that he just brought up about it, the whole FDA approval versus not. This was even a topic when we were going to do the podcast on the FSM, and our community was a little weary, if you will, because when here's the point I want to point out to the community is, like, we're not endorsing anything. This is an option. It's available if you guys want to try it. The other thing I want to point out, though, when you're getting like your steroid injections for your back, they're not FDA approved. Just to kind of point that out. So when you're looking at, I'm not saying this is going to cure your arachnoiditis. This could be a helpful modality. Let's leave it at that. And that's all we're doing. We're just trying to bring the resources to the community and let everybody know what is available. And, I think Steve was pretty open to wanting to try this from what he told me yesterday.
I turned it dark too early on bringing up the government and the FDA. So let me go back to PEMF for a minute.
Okay, go ahead.
At a higher level.
No, I'll jump right in that rabbit hole with you. Trust me. So, but yeah, we probably don't want to take it that way.
I keep trying to crawl out of that one. So,
right.
PEMF, let's look at it at the higher level. Okay, so it's energy therapy. Nothing in the world happens without an energy exchange. You don't chew food, you don't breathe oxygen, you don't fall down and hurt yourself, you don't cook a hot dog on a campfire or make s'mores. Nothing happens without an energy exchange. So the energy can be transferred to the body a number of ways. A TENS unit is electrical current, and most people are familiar with that. You put pads on yourself, it's putting energy in the body. PEMF is just magnetic energy. You have light, sound, and vibration. Everyone in the world's been sunburned. You understand energy exchange from light. It's called the sun, that it burns you, okay? The reason I chose PEMF, it's the most convenient because you don't have wires on your body. You stick it in your pocket, you go about your day and walking. So that's it. It's energy exchange. When you get into arguments with doctors about mechanism of action, and I love to fight with them because it's like, first of all, get off your high horse because you do not know how aspirin works, and it's been around for 3,000 years. And every doctor goes, oh, we know exactly how aspirin works. I go, you're delusional. You have a theory, but you've never, ever, ever proven it, okay? So when you get into the rabbit hole about how it actually works, you get in a fight pretty quick, but there's two things most of the people in the community will agree to. Number one, the cells in your body have a voltage on them, like a car battery. If that voltage gets low, you get sick. Your cells have to get nutrients into the cell, and they got to get waste products out, and they cannot do that if the battery isn't charged. This charges the cell's battery. It's been shown over and over again. That's number one. Charges your cell's batteries. Number two, ATP. I'll always pronounce it wrong. Now I'm an actual chemical engineer. Adenosine triphosphate, ATP. I'm close, maybe. I got the DP right. I got the adenosine triphosphate. ATP. So it's the number one fuel. It's the number one fuel that your cells use for food, and it increases ATP up to 500%. That's been proven over and over. Okay, so recharging your cells' batteries, giving your cells the food supply they need, so your body can do what it does best: heal itself. Almost no one will argue with what I just said there. Now, when you get into mechanism actions deeper and deeper in that, then you get controversial. But that's how PEMF or any energy therapy is working at the cellular level. That's most basics. Now, Yeah, I'm not going to go there because I was going to bring up darkness again about the FDA, but we'll stop there and we'll keep going with positive questions.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Have you worked with any athletes? Because ATP and, energy transference is huge. I mean, I was an athlete back in the day when there was no nutritional science. You drank water, you ate bananas, and you had oranges at the end of the race, right? That was the whole encompassing. Now they're getting down to a cellular level on how this works. Would this have any benefit from an athletic standpoint, from an improvement?
Absolutely, for sure. I mean, the obvious one's going to be general inflammation, wound healing, those type of things after workout. Before workout, and it's kind of interesting, is brainwave gamma. You think people would want to amp themselves up for energy level before the game. Actually, it's more brainwave theta and alpha to get in the zone. It's more of a meditation state. And I kind of think about Michael Jordan. He's interviewed many times. How did you make that move? I didn't know I was going to make that move. I just made that move and it happened. Right. Yeah. So getting into the zone, I've written multiple articles for athletes of pre-game prep stuff, what to go use. It's normally brainwave theta and alpha, like I said, and it's not gamma. It's not amping yourself up. You get ready for the game. It's more of a meditation thing. And then post-workout recovery. Yeah, we have all kinds of articles that we've written about that.
Okay. Interesting. Is it localized, or is there a specific location that you would wear it or you would place it? For instance, with us, what we're trying to do, most of our inflammation is in the arachnoid tissue in the spinal cord. So it's, we have the blood-brain barrier thing, but this is wavelength. So we're not working with the blood-brain barrier from a chemical standpoint. Would it be advisable to do focal in the area where the injury was, where most of the inflammation is? Would that be beneficial at all?
Yeah, so the answer is yes, but I'm going to answer it this way. So in general, you can wear it anywhere on the body. So we have a lanyard around your neck, you put it in your pocket. I stopped telling women to quit putting it in their bra 3 years ago because they do it anyway. They don't care what I say. So that's the primary place where women put it. You get full, and here's the misconception. So if you go man on the street and say, hey, do you know what PEMF is? 1 out of 15 people is going to know what it is from a beamer mat or a chiropractor with a full body mat they lay on. However, in the horse industry, 100% of horse owners know what this is. They know what MagnaWave is. They know what this technology is. But the misconception is you think to get full body coverage, you need to lay on a mat with full body coverage. You do not. Because it's resonating with the water in your body. So like a pebble in a pond, now energy is transferring. Number two, if you remember from science class, you got an alternating magnetic field that's going to make an alternating electrical current. Very, very, very low. In fact, it's 1,000 times less than a TENS unit. But your body and your organs and skin are electrically conductive. So it can travel the whole body through electrical conductivity. Nobody will disagree with those two things. The third one, only Mark has made up. I've heard nobody else bring this up before but me. But magnetite, which is in turtles and birds, that we believe is what they're using for migration for the magnetic North and South Pole. Recently, when I say recently, last 2 decades, it was discovered that humans have magnetite in their cells as well, just not as the highest concentration. If that's true, and it's shown that it is, then magnet to magnet, right? You got a stack of magnets, it'll transfer the energy that way. So the general answer is no, you can put it anywhere on the body. Now, having said that, well, let me say one more thing. PTSD is in every part of your body. It's in every part of your brain, blood, organs. So where would you put it? It's a full body thing. So PTSD, just wear it like a lanyard. Now, if it's specific pain, like you just mentioned, back pain, arthritis, if it's back pain, yes, if it's closer, it's going to work a little better. It's different for each person. Back pain, I tell people, put it between your pants and your underwear while you're sitting there, okay? If it's on the back of your neck, we have a hack. We can just tie it to a baseball cap. Let it sit on the back of your neck. We have a new device here that's not for sale yet for moderate cognitive impairment. Is the only thing I can say that we're testing. Okay. But anyway, so yeah, if you get it closer with pain, arthritis in your wrist, just wear a little sweatband. It does seem to work a little bit better. The reason we really believe it's resonating with water in the body, because if you're not hydrated, it doesn't work as well. That's been proven over and over again. So that's it. That's a long. You got to cut Mark off because I have long answers to questions. So, well, you need to be the referee and put your hand up when I keep talking too much.
I'll ask a question. So have any patients, I know you probably haven't worked with our type of patient population yet, but have they had any flare-ups or reports that this has worsened their pain. Maybe the frequency was too high. I'm just wondering. That was something that was brought up with the FSM. Different, wavelengths can cause a flare for us.
So you're looking for kind of an adverse effect.
Yeah, I'm sure with anything, there's going to be sometimes and this is one thing Steve and I always talk about. Every patient it's an individualized case by case. No patient with arachnoiditis has the same exact arachnoiditis because our injuries or what is in our body differs, from the DNA level all the way from the injury standpoint. So, obviously, I know that's kind of a broad question, but just wondering if there's been any mention of, patients saying, "Ooh, I used it today. I need to take a day off because, maybe it flared me up a little."
And I'll just say I am extremely familiar with FSM, and that's about all I'm going to say about FSM.
Okay.
For a reason. I have not had any cases where physical pain got worse that I know of.
Okay.
What we have seen is some people with anxiety, when they run anxiety, it makes them more anxious for whatever reason. Now, whether it's because they're trying something new or it's actually physically, mentally making them more anxious, we don't know. So we have a thing called Power of 4. When it's anxiety, run anxiety, relax and balance, PTSD, and vagus nerve. So there's 4 different protocols to find out, to your point, Sarah, which one works best for you. Everyone's different. Sometimes it's vagus nerve, sometimes it's this for the other person. Side effects. When somebody says, "Hey, it's making me tired," this is what me and my team now ask. How many times a day are you running it? The answer is usually 10 to 20. Stop running so many. Our theory is your body hasn't had time to use the energy. Last night on a podcast with some of our customers, this lady told me she's using it 20 times a day and she doesn't have any energy. I'm like, that's why. And then she fell asleep in the middle of the podcast. So I'm like, okay. So if you want to fall asleep, maybe that's what you do is run a bunch. But using it too much, you can't overdose, but it can make you tired, I think, for that reason.
Yeah.
But I have not had anyone with physical pain. I will tell you this is an example. So back to the protocols of most of them, like in a garage band, okay, most of them are pretty set. And I'll just say a lot of them came from the FSM community, okay, a lot of the core ones. Somebody asked me, "Hey, what do you have for Lyme disease?" Nothing. I got asked over and over and over. And I got 200 or 300 times I got asked about Lyme disease. I'm like, okay, I don't have anything, so I'm going to go dive into it. So when I found out, delta, brainwave delta, 1 to 4 hertz will kill it. And the doctor told me, be careful, Mark, because it's a mean, clever little bastard. It's going to spit poison. It doesn't want to die, and it'll make people sick. Okay. So the first study we did,
Yeah, you get that 100%, yeah.
100% success rate because every single person got sick and they quit. So I said, okay, so let's back up, regroup. Don't run it at 10, run delta at 3. And work your way from 3 to 4 to 5, then run the liver protocol to clean out the toxins, then run vagus nerve to reset your body. That is working for people. So that's something in the last year that I created on the fly out of demand. Honestly, it was a Facebook group call they invited me to, kind of like this. It's something I don't know much about. And to look at the face of 40 different people that had Lyme for 20 years, they'd rather have cancer, right? I mean, it's awful. So that's why I dove into is like, see if I could find something that helps them. And that series that I just described is working for a lot of people. But to answer your question directly, I don't have anyone that physical pain has said, "Hey, it made it worse." And maybe it did and they just quit using it and didn't tell me. But
right,
I
sure.
that,
yeah,
so.
Right. Makes sense.
I like the look of the device. It looks, as you described, looks like an old iPod, a little more narrow. Yeah, it looks very user-friendly. I think you're just kind of scrolling through the protocols until you find, is it alphabetical or is it?
It is alphabetical.
Okay.
So there's 60 on there, and it does look like an iPod, and I did that on purpose for familiarity. Okay. Now I'll tell you a top secret thing that nobody in the world knows, or hardly anyone. There's the bars that are running right there. You see the colors of the bars? Those are the same colors as a tricorder on Star Trek.
Oh, love it.
I did that on purpose, though. Subconsciously, people might go, Why haven't I seen those colors before? Because it's bones going whoa, 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 whoa on Star Trek.
Yeah, you need that noise, the noise. They had the most clever noises back in the day.
Yeah.
That's great. So, the marketplace, from my estimation, looks relatively crowded. There's a lot of other competitors there, a lot of bigger, from I don't want to say industrial size, but more of a clinical size device versus a personal take home. You do it on your own. What sets you apart? What's your differentiator in the market that sets you apart with the Vibe?
The short answer is going to be it's affordable, easy to use, and it's portable. So I get asked all the time, what's the difference between this and a beamer mat? Well, it's $300, not 7,000. It's one piece. It's not 7 pieces. You can take it on an airplane. You can take it anywhere you want, and it's easy. You don't have to program it, do a bunch of stuff. I get asked all the time, technically, how is this compared engineering to this device? And the answer is, I have no idea. They didn't tell me what their engineering is, and I don't know what they're doing unless they published it somewhere. And if they did, I may not know that. What I will tell you about mine is this is an MP3 player. It's a music player without a speaker. Now, all the protocols are actually MP3 files that I built on a music synthesizer. I'm not a musician. I can't play anything, but they are MP3 files, okay? So I'll just show you the inside of it. This is a MP3 player with a coil instead of a speaker. It doesn't have a diaphragm to move the air, but the coils move air a little bit because they're vibrating. So if you stick it right up to your ear, you can hear it. And like you said, to your point, everyone's different. We have now discovered 0.8% of the population has super hearing. They can hear this from across the room and they scream and it's so loud. What am I doing? I'm like, oh my God, send it back. It's broke. And everyone that's ever been sent back has never made any noise. So I'm like, these people are nuts. And then I have people that are temperature sensitive that say, it's 300 degrees. It can boil water. I'm like, there's no way it's above 105 Fahrenheit. And this lady bet me $100. We got on a Zoom call and I sent her a laser thermometer. I go, ready? Go. And she goes like that. And it was 101. She goes, that can't be right. I'm like, yes, it's 101. It's not 300 degrees.
Wow.
So some people,
everybody has their own sensitivities. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can see that.
sure.
Depending on what's in your body and whatever, it's, like that die-off that we talk about for certain
to answer
things.
your question though, I'm trying to make it affordable, lightweight, easy to use. People go, hey, I want it says 5-hour, 6-hour battery. I want a 12-hour battery. Well, it's going to look like a football and you can't wear it around your neck. It's going to be too heavy. So there's all these engineering trade-offs you got to make. So that's the main difference. Is mine is music that your body hears, your ears don't. That's what they are. You can actually put a magnet up to it and hear it. I woke up at 3 a.m. about 3 years ago, and this is the greatest invention I ever had. Okay. I said, how do I know that it's putting out the right frequencies? Because they're mixed, right? They're frequency pairs. So you can't go on an oscilloscope and see 40 hertz because it's got 40 and 116 mixed. So I'm like, how the hell do I do this? What's my quality control? And I was like, how do I know it's built correctly? It dawned on me. I go, when you stick a magnet up to it, it's going to amplify it. And if I play Stairway to Heaven, a song, the human ear is 20 hertz to 200,000 or 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz, right? So if I can hear the bass, the drums, the voice, the vocals, that means it was soldered, put together correctly, and it's working. That is our quality control in the manufacturing. They play a song on every one of them. And the operator says, does it sound like the song should sound like? Does it sound like Stairway to Heaven? And then they go, yep, and they put it in the good box. That's actually our quality control.
Almost sounds like somebody that passes by a radio antenna with a filling and they start to hear the radio inside there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Crazy phenomenon, but it does happen. Yeah. Oh, wow. So is there any group or demographic that should not, or you would advise not to use the technology?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say the same thing that the whole industry is going to say. Pacemakers, insulin pumps, or pregnancy, don't use it. If there's anything inside you that has electronics, don't use it. Knee replacements, hip replacements, all of those metal things that don't have circuitry are fine. So that's the official answer I have to say. Now I will just tell you a story. That's what Mark's going to tell you. That is the official answer. This is 9 Gauss. That's the energy level. An MRI is 50,000 Gauss. 50,000. So for years, if you had a pacemaker, you could not have an MRI. Then doctors decided, you know what, you're going to die anyway if we don't look inside of you. So do you want to take the chance? To my knowledge, there's been one fatality with an MRI in the history of the United States. And that's because an oxygen tank flew across the room and hit the lady in the head. Had nothing to do with her pacemaker. Thousands and thousands of people every year get 90, 50,000 Gauss in an MRI with a pacemaker. Never had one stop. But Mark's official line is don't use it.
Yep.
Got it.
So I'm an old X-ray tech, so that really resonates with me. I did hear of a guy that worked in some sort of metal factory, and he had some sort of shrapnel in him, and he walked in the room, and zoop, that thing ripped out of him, stuck up against that magnet. Yeah, kind of scary, but yeah, very very dissimilar to having an implant intentionally. Anyway,
I mean, everything that we pretty much insert into the body anymore is MRI friendly. I mean, mostly, 90% at least.
Right.
So I'm excited about the technology. I've tried a lot of things over the years, put a lot of money in a lot of stuff that is now gathering dust in a cabinet, that did not work for me, but was worth a try. One of the things we say around the house is don't say I can't, say I'll try. So when it comes to pain, and I learned a long time ago watching cyclists at the Tour de France, they're looking for incremental gains, right? They're looking for a second or a half second advantage over a guy that can keep up with them until that last thing. And this is kind of what we're looking for in our community, are incremental gains through less pain. If this does work with inflammation, if it does work with pain, and I know that, there are people coming out of the OR from orthopedic surgery, and they'll put them on the pad straight out of surgery. And I've read how their pain reduction is, 60 to 40%, compared to somebody coming out and, getting a shot of morphine, not on the same thing, and just sitting there moaning and groaning. I've seen it. I've been in enough ORs to,
Well, I have a veterinarian that does something like 30 spades and neuters a day in Colorado, and he uses the wound healing on everyone.
Wow. Yeah.
So what I would recommend, I made notes real quick. These 5 for your audience: general inflammation, low back pain, vagus nerve, sleep, and fibromyalgia. Those are the 5 that I would have them try: general inflammation, low back pain, vagus nerve, sleep, and fibromyalgia. Why sleep? Because it helps fix everything. You get good sleep. Fibromyalgia seems to be a miracle. So if your community has the pain due to nerves, it just seems to work for a bunch of nerve stuff. I had 3 doctors 2 years ago now. Weird, because it was the same week. Call me up and say, this thing's kicking butt for MS. I go, I don't have anything for MS. I go, what are you running? Fibromyalgia? All 3 of them said yes. So they logically looked at the list and went, it's not exactly that, but it's in the realm of that. Let's give it a shot. And so we see that all the time. I have people contact me all the time. I'll go, that sounds like inflammation of something, and that sounds like an allergy of something. So go do those 2. It doesn't work all the time. Can't promise anything, but in general, we have a 98% success rate with PTSD. The rest of them are about 90% plus. I wish the lowest one, which is prostate, is about 60, 65%. I wish it wasn't, because unfortunately 5,000 guys, 75-year-old men, have my phone number, and I get a lot of calls, get screamed at because it didn't work. And I'm like, I told you it might not, right? So that is probably the lowest one that we have, is prostate, but that's the range. And you said like the incremental thing with the bike riders. This is an interesting story. So we ran with the vagus nerve, we ran a study with heart rate variability, try to show if it increases. So 1 hour session on average increased heart rate variability 58%. So I was kind of depressed about it. I went to the doctor and said, I was hoping we'd get a lot better results now. And he goes, an NFL player would pay $1 million to get a 5% increase. You got a 50% increase. Like,
yeah.
And that had to change the viewpoint. It's like, okay, I was looking at it wrong.
Yeah. That's, they were trying to do that with the injectables. Well, you could do it topical with, only a radiation wave, right? So
I'll ask one last question, and this probably just shows my knowledge gap with all of this, but as far as grounding, like we talk about grounding, going out, putting your feet in earth for 20 minutes a day. And my question do you feel like this device is similar to grounding? And obviously it's going to provide more because it's, at a higher amperage, right? And more specific, targeted, but
So my feet are on a grounding mat right now.
okay.
So I'm gonna tell you it's the opposite. The grounding mat's pulling bad stuff, ions out of the body. So it's pulling them out of your body into ground. This device is putting energy into the body, good energy. So to simplify it, PEMF is putting good energy in the body so the body can use it. Grounding is getting rid of the bad stuff.
Okay, so using both is great.
Both is great.
Right, makes sense. Okay. I think that'd clarify a lot for the community because we've talked a lot about the grounding mats, and where I tell Steve all the time, he's got an ulcer on his foot, and I'm like, go outside and put your foot on the ground for 20 minutes a day. He still hasn't done it, but I mean, there is a lot of evidence behind. I mean, I know it's freezing cold right now, but in the summer.
To be honest, I knew nothing about grounding mats 2.5, 3 years ago, and I go, this is a bunch of BS, and I read 21 double-blind studies on it and went, okay, this stuff's real. So that's why I bought one.
Mm-hmm.
But in this realm, I'm going to touch on something because I know your audience is probably going to ask it. Because we get this every day. Does your device put out EMF? Okay. I know what they're asking. Their intent is this putting out bad stuff? Okay. So unfortunately, I got all kinds of people that have these EMF meters. They have no idea what they're measuring and they're screaming, right? Yes, it puts out EMF. It's light. Okay. But it's 1 to 1,000 hertz, which is very helpful EMF. And Wi-Fi, cell phones, and all that are potentially bad EMF. I'm a rocket scientist. I struggle forever. How do I say this the right way? And ChatGPT helped me finally. They went, okay. I had it this way. Nobody understood it. So it's a wave. So picture a surfer, right? Light is waves. A surfer sitting out there waiting for a wave. If a 3-foot wave comes along, a set comes every 10 minutes. There's some energy in that water. If a 100-foot tsunami comes 50 million times a second, that's a lot more energy. I tried that analogy. Nobody got that one very well. So I tried this one. If PEMF was a step, a human step, one step, this would be walking around the earth 10 times at the equator. Okay. That's the difference between PEMF that's helpful and potentially harmful EMFs. So the correct answer is, yes, it puts out EMF. Quit worrying about your little EMF meter, because I've talked to every manufacturer. They don't even know, most of them don't know how they work. They don't know what they're measuring. And then you get into, we have ramp square waves or not sine waves, and what is it actually measuring, and lamps rates and all that technology. And people just go, they turn it on, and thing goes, and it buzzes, so they freak out and send it back. I'm like, it better buzz because it's putting out some energy.
Right. That's what it's supposed to do. Right. Yeah.
Funny thing is, people don't think about, and there's a lot. I used to fly a lot, and one of the things I always thought about was solar radiation and the long wavelengths being filtered out by the aluminum of the aircraft. Right. They're flying cross country. They're not thinking about getting that radiation, and that's not healthy for you. Right. That you don't know what you don't know, or at least they don't know what they don't know because they're not educated in that way. Anyway. All right.
Well, exposed to so much more daily. I can go on and on and on about that, but that's the point. Like, that I think he was trying to make, like, the amount that you're exposed to is so minimal that it's really not even worth bringing up, truly.
So tell us, Mark, where can we find Vibe? And I think there was one other thing that you had on there, which was, you do the equine market, you do the canine market, you've got a smartwatch, but then there's one called is it the Vega Vibe? How do you pronounce that?
No, I was waiting. I was holding my breath, hoping somebody would pronounce it correctly, and you didn't, because nobody ever has. Vega Vibe.
Vega Vibe. Oh, okay.
Okay. Like Vega's nerve, Vega Vibe.
Vega. I got you.
It's for vagus nerve, short, Vega. Mm-hmm. Vegas without the S, Vega Vibe is what it's supposed to be.
Oh, Vega Vibe. Okay, got it.
So it is the same protocol, vagus nerve protocol. It's on here, but I tried to make this even easier. It only has no Star Trek tricorder. It has an on button. It's just you turn it on and you can't do anything wrong. The light's on, wear it. Put it around your neck like the necklace, and that's it. So
it's idiot proof.
So real quick about the vagus nerve, because it's a big misconception. It's on your brain, comes down both sides of the neck. It's closest to skin at the neck, and then it clusters around your heart. It goes to your organs. It's the super highway where your brain and organs talk to each other. If you get that tuned right, it changes everything. The reason people like Pulsetto and Truvago and others put 15-volt shock to your neck is because it's closest to the neck. You don't need to do that with PEMF. Put it right over the heart. That's the gateway to get to the vagus nerve. I have a veterinarian in Myrtle Beach it's a dog rehab center. He treats 40 to 50 dogs a day. And we have a dog harness where it slides in there and sits on the dog's heart. And he goes, Mark, I have every PEMF machine there is. Yours works the best. I don't know if it's the technology or because you were smart enough to put it by the heart. But he's getting the best results from his dogs from any other machine, which is super exciing. And I'm going over to a veterinarian conference with him on Sunday.
I have a bunch of dogs now. I'm like, maybe I need to start using it on a few of the ones that are, older, starting to have some mobility issues.
I can be clear. This is for pets and people. It's one device. So everyone goes, I want the dog one. I want the horse one. They're the same. A horse is a 1,000-pound person with 4 legs. Okay.
Right.
They have anxiety. They have back pain because people ride them. Right. They have arthritis. Dogs usually don't have the sleep issue. Okay. But the rest of the stuff they've got. Separate. Anxiety is the #1 ailment in the world for all people and pets across the globe. That's why I wrote this book, GoFindJoy.com, right? It concentrates on anxiety and how you use this technology to erase it. And so, yeah, we've seen, and it's funny because the horse people, they know the technology. They're like, that little piece of crap 2-ounce thing can't do nothing for a 1,000-pound animal. I'm like, try it. And they're like, no, because they're used to a gigantic ring to come out with, make the muscles twitch and go crazy. And it's like, you're giving them, horses are more energy sensitive than people. They don't need that much. Okay. But that's
they don't need a gallon of LASIK to make a difference, right?
No, they don't.
Too funny.
I appreciate you coming on. So if someone wanted to find your site, Steve, are we going to add the links?
We'll add it on there, but if you'll tell us where we can find it and what we're looking at from a price point standpoint, I know what that is. It's easy to find on the website, but if you would cover
Rezona.health. There's no .com, so Rezona.health. If you forget that, if you type in Mark Fox, so I have the shortest name in the world that's not Asian, not being racist. Okay, but I have 7 letters. It's the shortest one. If you put in Mark Fox, you're gonna find the basketball coach. If you put in Mark L. Fox, you'll find all my videos and a whole bunch of stuff about me. So if somebody can remember that part, I can't hide from the authorities. They can find me pretty easy. They know where I'm at. I'm easy to find.
You and me both. I used to joke that my picture's in the post office, and you'll see me like this or like this. So
yeah, and I think I read yesterday on the site it has, I believe it's a 30-day money back guarantee.
We have a 30-day money back.
In other words, you can try it for a few days if you're getting those weird sensations like you reported from the others, the heat or some people, like there's a lot of people that live in certain communities now, with no Wi-Fi, no, phones, or because they're super sensitive, or it's a lifestyle choice too. But there are people that have those sensitivities. So the point is, though, it's 30-day. Yeah.
It's 30-day money back guarantee, and we're flexible on that. I just, if you need more time, my team always gives you more time. And they're $399 on sale for $299. We have a 2-pack, which is one of our best sellers, for $498. And everyone goes, why would you sell a 2-pack? Is it not going to work? I'm like, no, because your friends and family are going to borrow it and you're going to lose it. That is my #1 seller because they disappear.
Sure.
They disappear. But I don't want anyone in the world to have it and paid for it. If it didn't work, we'll give you your money back. Now, I'm going to be weird, okay? I'm not going to say no questions asked. I'm not, because I'm going to ask questions. My team's going to, because we want to find out if I'm using it right. Because a lot of times I found out you turn the power down to 0. Or what are you trying to accomplish? Well, you're using the wrong protocol. Try this one. Give you a couple more weeks. So we do want to talk to you because you came to us for a reason. You're looking for relief and hope. And we don't want you to just send it back, get your money back. That's not the issue. We want to try and help you. Now, We'll give you your money back for sure if it doesn't work. But I really don't like the no questions asked because when I get them back, Nothing frustrates me more. And I look at the power levels at 0 and I throw it across the room because I'm just pissed. It's like, it didn't work because it wasn't on, right?
No, I love that. I love that you're taking the initiative to try to figure out for the client what the issue is too. So a lot of companies do not do that. They don't care. It's all about just supply and demand, in, out, and resell. So that's awesome. I love to hear that.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Mark. Well, hey, thank you so much once again for coming on, talking about the technology. You know what? When I get to the point where I put that order in and I try it, we're going to try to have you back and we'll talk about the results, and we'll give a real world experience with arachnoiditis and my dysautonomia, and see what we can do here.
I'd love to. Let me make an important point to that. Okay.
Sure.
Whatever survey you guys use for your disease, take that survey now, take it again in 30 days. Here's why. You're going to forget how bad you felt. It's just human nature, and we see it all the time, okay?
Yeah.
So with PTSD, 0 to 80 score, it's called the PLC-5. It's what the administration uses. I have more and more Zoom calls where somebody gets on the call and they go, yeah, I don't think it really helped me. And I'm not sure, maybe a little bit. I go, you reported a 72 a month ago, and now you just reported 12. Guys, they start crying.
Yeah. Right.
Now, here's my theory.
No, it's true. We forget so quickly about pain. It's amazing. I've been in pain for 17 years now, but when I did the IV ketamine, it was the first time in 16 years that I did not have pain. And I mean, that was amazing. It didn't last, but the point was, it was almost like instant. I knew obviously that long, but
here's what most people in that case, what happens, Sarah, they don't go, oh, my pain's gone. They go, something's not right, or something's different, right? This is my theory, and we'll close with this so then everyone will hate me. This is my theory on why women have more than one kid. They forgot how much the pain was on the first pregnancy. and if human nature didn't erase that somehow, we would not exist, because we'd only have one kid per family, right? I know there has to be part of that logic to it. It's your biology is saying, forget part of that stuff. And we're seeing the same thing with PTSD so many times. And so take the test before and after, whatever it is, Steve. The other thing, the best litmus test in the world, ask your friends and family if you're different. Okay. They will go, hey, you know what? We like hanging around. Hey, why'd you invite me to the picnic? Because you haven't invited me in 3 years. Well, because you're not being an asshole anymore. No, we get that every day. Or like, my kids want to hang out with me now, and they never used to. And the kids go, well, because you're funner to be around. You're not grumpy all the time. That's a huge litmus test. It's not blood work, but it is valid.
Yeah. Perfect. Finally, I can close my day out by saying, when somebody says, what'd you do today? I had a pleasant conversation with a rocket scientist.
And just walk away.
Mike,
walk away.
Right?
Thanks for having me.
Leave it anymore. Thanks, Mark. Take care. Good luck. Best of wishes. And we look forward to circling back to you again.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye.